I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media.
Come on!
I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media. What is up, everybody? About to start the show here for a Wednesday. Brought to you and powered by Teebs.green. They have medicinal marijuana and recreational. They also do pre-rolls and cartridges and edibles and concentrates and topicals. Matter of fact, I don't know if you see my hand here. I'm going to show it to you. See that? I'm having a little tendinitis, and I rubbed some of that powerful medicinal stuff that Gina told me about yesterday, and I put a little wrap on it. Man, thing is good as new. I could touch myself all over very easily right now and have no issues at all.
That's it. Show's over, guys. We're done.
Wait, what? Where's everybody going? What happened?
What you rub it on?
See, thank you, Donnie.
Teebs just pulled their sponsorship. They just called. Breaking news.
Paraphernalia, and they also, like I said, medicinal, which is great. And then also they have great knowledge there. So if you're thinking about, you know what, maybe I want to see what this cannabis thing. I hear it's brand new. There's this new cannabis thing. It's only been around about 10,000 years. So it's brand new thing. Not sure what's going on. I want to find out. They can help you over there. Teebs.green. Teebs of Adrian.
And now, our feature presentation.
This is Ed McMahon. And now, here's Andrew.
Andrew Z. How about that Andrew Z? Say Andrew Z. In the morning, it's time to wake up. Andrew Z. In the morning, yeah. Come on.
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, March 31st, the last day of March 2020.
Whoa.
Whoa. We got a big show. We have P Squared, Donald P, and Ashley P. Demetrius Nicodemus, rounding out the bottom squares. Up top, in the middle, Gina from Capella Media. And we've got Chris Teeble, producer Georgia. Let's do this thing.
Andrew Z. In the morning.
Oh, thank you, Donald. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? Kind of funny. Daughter Josie, who's gonna be 3, she does this thing. I don't know if she got it from television or her sisters kind of showed it to her, but she does this thing called superpowers. She goes superpowers, and then we're supposed to freeze or fall or do whatever. So she likes to do it throughout the day. And superpowers. And last night it was time to go to bed, but she wanted to sleep with her sisters, but they had school today, so she couldn't be in there, but she was throwing a fit. So Colleen pulled her into our bedroom, but every time she put her in the bed, she'd run to the other girl's room, and then Colleen had to go get her and bring her back in and whatever. And finally, Colleen was just holding on to her. No, you can't go in there. You cannot. You have to stay in here. So she would hold her down. And she was crying, throwing a fit. She's like, superpowers. Like she thinks it really works.
You think that's real?
You think it's real? Yeah.
How did you unfreeze Colleen?
I begged. I said, Josie, okay, you can go in there. Just please stop. So she thought it was
sounds like the makings of a really good Twilight Zone episode.
Twilight Zone got canceled, pal. Okay.
About 50 years ago.
No, they had
and then again recently.
And a new version that got canceled with one of the Wayne. No, not Wayne's.
Oh, it was like it was either Key or Peele.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Peele.
Peele. Okay. Yeah.
Donnie's gonna fix Ashley's mic. No, hold on. Ashley has to call tech support. Oh, there it is. Yep. Wow. Tech support arrives quickly over there.
Hey, hello. Have you tried rebooting your computer?
Yes, Donnie. When you fix Ashley's computer, you have to do it in an accent like you're really tech support. Hello. What are you wearing?
Is it better
I-
now?
I live in Utah.
Can
Talk
you guys
again.
hear me?
Yeah, you said
Yes.
it.
I don't even know when my mic's wrong. I was like, why is Donnie getting up? Where's he going?
Ashley's like, oh, how do I pay for this? I don't know. Tech support is so
No, he's
expensive.
like, stop pushing this button. But I literally don't push anything. It just sits in my lap, and he always blames it on me.
Tech
I'm sure
support.
you're fidgeting with it.
Tech support is so expensive, Donnie. How would I pay for this? I have 3 kids. I don't know. Is there any?
I'm sure we could work something out.
Oh, okay, Donnie. Well,
Is this the beginning
Hell,
of their
Dracula.
OnlyFans?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yes. Help! I'm stuck in the dishwasher.
It's. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm gonna need money. I don't know what you think that is worth, but I can't put that in an envelope and send it to Edison. Nobody likes a vagina payment when they're expecting a check. Nobody just.
Well, I
Nobody
don't know
goes
about
up.
that.
And house calls
mean,
are
if I-
expensive. Go ahead, Donnie.
If I was tech support and someone offered to pay me with sex, I'd say I can't pay my bills with sex, but I could pay my bills with videos of me having sex. So
That is
sign this for my OnlyFans page.
That's true.
Uh,
That is a win-win for everybody. Okay, she doesn't have the money, so she's willing to pay for it in sex. You can't pay for your bills, sex, but if there's a video, boom, everybody wins.
See,
Can I
and
say
here's
that
the
I-
thing.
How do
That
we
is
always
not-
get here?
Like why is it? And God bless, God bless parents of America and just the world. But why is it? Does the entire world think that everybody else wants to watch them fuck?
Well,
Nobody
because
wants
if you
to
look
watch-
at the internet,
like
that people are
legit-
making lots of money over it.
Right. Well, not everybody. I guarantee you, the people that you see who are making money, there are millions of people who throw their video up there thinking they're like Kong the Conqueror, and then they got 2 views and they're all like sad face emojis, like, oh.
Well, I'm thinking if there's 5 billion people on the planet, there's always somebody that wants to watch this certain person bang.
Like you said,
I would
you gotta find your niche.
But how do you send those emails out to those 6 people?
they find them.
Like,
They find you.
I just want to say that I love the fact that on Ashley's first day back, our first topic is sexually exploiting her for services rendered.
Seriously.
That was
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, babe.
She is a realtor now. Realtor.
I really am a realtor, and I'm really doing the realtor things. And I cried 3 times yesterday.
Oh, no.
wow, only 3. Wow, you're
Only
improving.
3. It's
So-
just there's so much to learn, and
But Donnie
I
said
don't know. So what I was going to ask you guys, because I was thinking about this morning, like when you guys start something new. Okay, first of all, I haven't started something like really new in a long time. Right? Like I've been doing a stay-at-home mom thing, and then I went and worked at the school, and it's like those are all things that just come naturally now
Right.
at this point.
Right.
But like when you have to start new things, and like there's a lot of paperwork, and it's all legal paperwork, which is like scares me because I'm like I don't want to mess anything up, and just remembering all the stuff you're doing and talking to people and all that. If you're not really good at something the first time you try it, do you like have like this instinct to just like want to quit, or are you guys like more brave?
no.
Like you mean when it gets hard, I think at the beginning there's always going to be points where you're like, oh screw it, it's not working, it's not worth it, it's whatever. It's the people that I think power through that are the ones that are successful because it's going to take time. But the cool thing about you, Ash, is that you just started and you've already got a listing and you're already showing houses, and so just the minimal amount of success for the short amount of time should be like, oh man, this is worth it because it's going to be big because I've already showing success. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, thank you. That's really nice of you to say, but it just feels like I'm just like one of those people that like if I'm such a perfectionist and if I can't do it perfectly the first time, then maybe I'm not meant to do it.
Can I ask you, Ashley, when has that ever been a thing for you? Like when
Always.
has anybody
Oh my God.
no, I mean when have you ever like gotten anything perfect, anybody, the first time they've done it and consistently done it perfectly over and over again? When
Maybe
have you
because
ever
I'm married
done
to Donnie, I just think
I'm
that
just-
I should be.
I mean, because so I guess my question is, since that's never happened, why is that now a standard for you? Like,
it's just always been my standard.
But it's never been accomplished. So
Right.
why is that a standard?
I don't know.
You know, if I jump off a building and I expect to fly, and then I go, you know what, and I keep on jumping off, but I continue to expect to fly, then I have to ask myself, then there's something wrong with my process. Then, maybe I should, I need to start thinking in a different way.
Totally, I agree.
Being paralyzed by perfection is very common. Like, and I'll jump over to you, Don, in just a second. But like for me, when doing like live videos, and like I never want to do live videos because I'm like, I don't like the background. The microphone sucks on the phone. I don't have a plug-in microphone. I hate when the audio's echoey. And there are 10 reasons, and then I just never end up doing it. Because I just don't, like I said, I want it to be perfect. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. And there are many times that has stopped me from just doing just jumping on. Like some people just jump on anytime, throw the live button on, and just go. And I can't do that because I have to make sure it's going to be right. And what am I going to say? And blah 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 blah. There's just so many things that go through your head, and you finally just fucking shut it down. Go ahead, Donnie. What were you going to say?
So this is kind of a weird take on it, but I feel like part of the video game generation, like the people that didn't play video games didn't like learn that like you're gonna suck, but if you keep trying, you can get better. It's kind of a weird analogy, but guys like myself or Chris or Demetrius, who grew up like trying a video game and you suck, but your friends are good at it, so you want to be good at it, so you play it for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden you're beating the whole game. You realize that you're going to suck at the beginning, and you just keep trying. It's like it's something that's kind of like ingrained in us.
Well,
that makes sense.
Let me ask you this, Donnie. I want to see if you're onto something because I'm not sure. But let's say, no, I'm not. I want to flesh it out. No,
it's kind of it's out there.
Not in a bad way. I want to flesh it out.
Yeah.
Like,
it just sounded like a bad way.
Is this a gender thing? Because this is why I ask. Because my daughters, they do baton. And, we pay for lessons and do all that stuff. But they like when I played baseball, I played constantly. Like I had a glove on my hand. I was throwing it in walking around the house. I was, playing for hours and hours and hours. I'd play we go out at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m, and we'd play till 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or whatever. And we would just obsess over it and just play all the time. And we would continue to get better. Now my daughters, they will only pick up the baton when they're getting lessons or when there's a practice or whatever. And I'm like, no, you have to hold that thing in your hand all the time. You have to be twirling it all the time. It's got to be part of your anatomy. And they just don't get it. Like they're good at it, and they've had success at it. But they could be even further along if they would just do it all the time. I'm like, why do you not have your baton in your hand? Blah, 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 blah. There's always an excuse of why you don't. So I don't know if it's a gender thing or it's a generational thing. I'm not sure, but I know what you're saying. Go ahead, Tifel.
Baseball is a lot more socially accepted activity than going out in the street and twirling a baton. Like there aren't baton fields. There aren't, there aren't baton, things like that. It's baseball itself is, and it's something that people, that even when they're not on a team, they do socially and for fun. So
sometimes
it's not exactly.
Sometimes your responses are just like, you just came here to argue this morning.
No, I'm not.
You know what?
I'm trying to argue. I'm not saying baton is bad. I'm not saying baton is bad. I'm saying that there isn't a whole, like, the people that are interested in baton are the people that are interested in baton. But the people that are, baseball is a lot more ingrained in society than
Chris, can I point out the flaw in that comparison of being socially acceptable and more people playing it? Baton is built for one.
Yeah, it's not a team.
You don't need a team to play baton, and to say that there's nothing. There's nothing
to play with your baseball either. Andrew was talking about going out by himself, wearing his glove and throwing his ball and stuff.
Chris, and you can literally throw a baton anywhere. You don't need a lot of space. It goes up.
You can throw a ball anywhere. It goes up.
Chris, so to say that there's no baton field, any field that you stand in with a baton has the potential to be a baton field.
Literally anywhere you are, you could play. Andrew was talking about
Holy
going out by
Christ.
himself with his glove and playing catch and shit. By
I'm
himself.
just gonna show up at your house with a baton and be like, "Want to play baton?"
Hey,
No,
yeah.
It's
And
not.
you know what?
It's not
And-
an activity
and you
that's
know what,
ingrained.
Gina?
It's not an
Gina,
activity
I
that's
will-
ingrained in the
Gina,
culture.
Yeah, I will go like this. I have been waiting for somebody to knock on my door and ask me to play baton for a week. And then I will go and grab my baton out of my baton case. Because a lot of people think I play the flute, but I go, oh no, bitch. This is a baton case. And then I will bust it out. And you and I can go and
people's
play
dad.
baton.
Oh, look at people's dad just dropped in.
Who the hell
I
am
was
I arguing?
just
I literally wasn't arguing with anyone.
Hold on.
First-
People's dad
Listen.
just said, for those listening in the podcast, People said Christopher, first of all, Christopher's whole life has been one argument.
You got him using my whole name. If you get him using my middle name, I'm taking all of you down.
Listen.
Go ahead, Gina.
Okay, so first of all, I was sitting here right before this whole thing started, and sometimes we talk over Tifo, and we don't like. I see him go to talk, and we talk over, and I can see him get irritated, and I sometimes I feel bad, and I was just feeling bad. I was like, man, we need to let Tifo talk sometimes a little more, and then he opened his mouth, and that came out, and I'm like, oh, that's why we don't let him talk. And also, I feel for Tifo's dad, because can you imagine him as a kid? Like my kids, I'm really strict about back talk because my parents were really strict about back talk. So like my answer is my answer. And I just said I was going to, all of those things are considered back talk to me. And Tifo would be the king of back talk. Like, I don't know how his dad did it, because I would have went to jail for child abuse if Tifo was my kid.
I don't see how you get from me making the statement that I was making, where I was arguing with literally no one, to that.
It's very interesting. This is probably the least surprising thing ever, but Tifo was on the debate team, as we just found out. It's the least surprising.
And you know what? I really feel like he argued with his coach about whether or not he should be on the team. like they were like, hey Chris, you're on the team. He was like, well, technically, let me just tell you why I don't think I am.
All right, so anyway, here's Tifo's dad says he taught Georgia everything he knows about arguing.
Please, that girl pioneered some shit. All right, that girl's in a league of her own when it comes to doing some of that. You can't put that on me.
No.
Is it just the two of you, Tifo?
What?
Is it just you and Georgia, or do you guys have other siblings?
Have an older brother and an older sister.
Oh wow.
Lord.
So
there's
how
a lot.
are your older siblings? Like, would you categorize them like compared to you? Like, because I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe like your parents had like great success with like two, and they were like, "Fuck it, we can do two more." And then you two came along. Oh, so they thought like maybe you were like just like maybe a one-off. Like just an arguing baby, like you came out of the womb like, I don't want to suck a titty. No. And,
Who the heck would
and they
argue
were like,
with that?
we'll try another one. And then the other one came out just as arguey. And like they looked at each other and they were like, we should have stopped at the older two. We pressed our luck.
Technically, it's called breastfeeding.
All right. So anything else going on with anybody? Anything going
So
on?
wait, so everyone's bottom line is that that they're not perfectionists. So I'm the only one here. Shit.
I don't understand. Perfection just, I think, is so it's like an unfair word, because nothing's perfect. Math is perfect, but other than that, as far as like how you strive in your life, there is nothing perfect. There is always something that you feel you can do better. There is always something that you feel maybe you regret that you've done. But you can always strive to be better. I never push perfect, because perfect will drive you crazy. but better is attainable every day. You can be better every day. Every
Yeah, that's a
day
good
you
point.
can be better. You can't be perfect.
Tina, go ahead.
So Ashley, literally every job I've ever started, when I first start, I mean, even to fast food, like when I first started working, it can be very, what you're feeling is called, it's overwhelmed. That's just the word for it. You're just overwhelmed. Yeah. There's a lot to learn in any job, but especially in the job you're in. And every job has that in the beginning. So you go in on your first day and you're like, I'm never going to get this. You're super slow. Everybody else is really fast. People, this guy's only been there 2 weeks. He's spinning circles around me, that kind of thing. And you get very overwhelmed. I'm never going to get it. And then you get it, and it just happens, and it clicks, and you move faster. I know just Georgia can tell you, just producing this show, you can tell Georgia's growth in just a month. You know, when she first got it, her and I talked, she's like, man, this is a lot. Like, there's a lot to learn, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Like, and I just kept saying, you'll get it, you'll get it, you'll get it. And she got it. That's every job. And I think that's just where you're at. It's just overwhelming right now. And in a month or two, you're going to go, man, I remember when this was so overwhelming to me that I thought I was going to quit, but you're going to power through and you're going to be great at this. So yeah, I don't think that that's correct. That's not a normal feeling. I think it is.
But here's what I will say when you're talking about paperwork. People, as a society, are getting very lazy. Like, we don't like doing paperwork. Like, I've talked to business owners, and now they're taking people that want jobs, like applications, through Facebook, because if they say, hey, go fill out this online app and then we can call you back, that's even a step too far. Like, if they get 50 people that just send them a Facebook message, they'll get 5 people that reply to an actual ad for a job.
Yeah.
Then those are the 5 people that I considered.
But out of those 5, then how many are qualified? So I'm saying,
you can't click a link.
But
no, I'm telling you,
that is the height of laziness right there.
There is a huge disconnect between going to click a link and filling out an app than just clicking on Facebook and saying, hey, I want a job. And then they'll say, all right, well, come on in.
If you want the job, you fill out the app.
I'm just telling you what many business. Then the
only problem I have in those scenarios is when you provide them a resume and then they make you fill out the app with the exact same information. But if you're not even bothering to click on the link,
right,
you don't deserve the job.
I'm telling you, it's just
they're not even asking you to come to the store.
See, this is where I have to jump on Chris's boat, because legit, you know what? And how many times have you heard employers say, I can't find good employees. I can't. Well, you know what? When you keep on lowering the bar and then you make good employees feel like they're average employees because you've done and lowered your standard and put everybody in this pool, like, for real. Like, if my only option is to get Facebook applications because people won't fill out regular applications, then you know what? If I got a pile of shit and then I keep putting shit into my business, and then I get mad at the shit because the shit's not performing correctly, and I'm like, well, bro, it's still shit. It was shit when you got it. You can't put it in your business and then expect it to work like a machine. It's poop.
But the onus can't be on the business owner. They need,
it has to be.
No, they need the employees. If they're doing it the proper way and they're not getting any participation, but you have to adjust you still need the employees.
Well,
like, with people that are getting hired,
you're talking about adjusting to the lowest common denominator.
But you're not. You still have to fill the positions. Go ahead, Donnie.
Think about it as like an extension of word of mouth, because when they show up, they still have to fill out the application.
Right.
It's almost like, this is a social media app. This is a social thing. This is how we communicate. It's almost like, hey, my brother's got this job. Hey, my buddy's got this job. Go check it out. Or, hey, reach out and, send them a message. So I almost think it's an in-between. I mean, they still have to get there. They still have to go show up and fill out the app.
But that's not the scenario Andrew described. The scenario Andrew described was they're messaging them on Facebook and they're accepting that stuff over Facebook because they won't click the link to fill out the application. But if you end up But that's what I'm saying. That's the scenario you're talking about. They're too lazy to click on a link and fill out an application to give all the information they need to give.
But Donnie's right. They're reversing the order to where now they have to get you in, and once you're hired, you still eventually you have to fill out the paperwork.
You don't get hired if you don't have the information in the first place.
Go ahead, Demetrius.
How I look at it is this. Okay, Donnie, you can come in and fill out the app. All right, but what I'm asking for is for you to fill out an application and provide me with some information so that I can sit down and properly interview you, properly speak to you. You cannot just pop information on me as an employer and then expect me to to give you the adequate amount of time it would take for me to look through all of this stuff and then really get to know who you are as a future employee, as a person. What I'm asking you for is the ability to do my due diligence to get to know you on this paper before I see you in person.
Like, how do you know what questions to ask?
You can't argue with that. But I got to tell you, there's like such a thin line between laziness and efficiency. So you've got to it's like, are you lazy or are you just like one step ahead? Are you one step ahead of the game?
Efficient, like super efficient.
Where's the efficiency in not filling out the application before you go for an interview? Like, I don't see the efficiency in that. You go in for the interview. How does the employer know what questions to ask? They don't know your job.
Okay,
history.
Here's the efficiency, Chris.
They don't know what experience you claim you have.
The efficiency.
I can answer that question.
The efficiency is people are, like I said, they're lazy and they don't want to fill out 100 apps and then not get called back. So they would rather, hey, I'm gonna hire you if everything works out. So go ahead, Donnie.
Well, the efficiency is when I got my job 8 years ago, which is like a whole generation of social media ago.
Right.
I showed up at 2 places, and it took me like the afternoon because they were 20 miles apart, and I didn't get the job that day. But I just went to only 2 places, and then I worked on those same 2 places for like a week and finally got the job. Like if I would have been reaching out like via social media in just the first afternoon, I probably could have reached 25 places in this area and maybe started a connection, started talking there. I mean, I'm very happy with where I ended up. I'm just saying the old school way, I spent a week on 2 places and got a job, where today, if I'm really trying to look for something, the cream of the crop, you want to put as many hooks in the water as you can.
Which you can with online applications. When I was unemployed, I filled out like 10 or 12 applications a day.
I get it.
That's efficient.
That's efficient. All right.
But wait. So then you agree?
No, I filled out like no.
He's saying they won't fill it out.
I'm saying he's saying they won't fill it out. I filled out like 10 or 12 a day, and then I had my list. I followed up with those 10 or 12 in a couple of days, and I kept going like that. That's how I got my job.
So if you would like to follow up with Chris after the show about exactly the steps that he took, then I suggest that we set up a Zoom call.
The way it works now is
I don't need another Zoom call.
The way it works now, is someone will post on Facebook, hey, looking for a job. Someone will say, hey, I'm interested. Then you'll message them, hey, come stop on by. And then when you get that personal invite, they come in. And then if it goes well, then they'll start filling out all the paper. It's just reverse. People aren't going to fill out the application first anymore for 20 jobs. They're going
then they don't deserve the job.
They're going to need some.
Sometimes
if you can't put the effort ahead,
let me tell you how it goes.
Hold on.
Let me tell you how it goes most of the time. Most of the time, you put the thing online. Someone reaches out and said, this would be great for this family member. Then you reach out to that family member, and then they ghost you. That's how it goes most of the time.
Exactly.
Well, I just think the way that people's mentality about it is like old school. So you got to get with the new school, Tiefel. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think just because that's the way we did it, or you think it should be done, doesn't mean that's the
But
trend that everyone's following. This
Right,
what Andrew's talking about is, first off, not what I'm seeing. I see people post jobs on Facebook, and then I see them directing people to the applications. I've never once seen somebody in comments on Facebook going, "Hey, I want the job," and someone going, "Oh yeah, you laughed at my joke the other day. You have the job now." No,
I can tell you that somebody who
the
runs
freaking employee has to put the goddamn effort in first.
I'm
Holy
telling
shit.
you from a
It's fun.
person who does social media for a living, that is absolutely the way it's done.
Yeah.
That
I've
is.
never
It doesn't
once-
matter
I've
if you
never
like
once
it.
seen that.
Christopher.
Okay, just because you've
Christopher,
never
can I
seen
just-
it.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Chris, stop. You can't talk over everyone just because you want to make a
Literally
point.
everybody talks over me, and I'm the only one that gets yelled at when I talk over someone else. So either pick it. Either it's okay to interrupt people, or it's not.
Okay.
Pick
And-
one, Andrew.
And so the point is, a business has to fill 5 seats. Okay. The employee that's not clicking the link, they're going to go on to the next thing and the next thing and finally find someone that's going to take them. The employer still has to fill those 5 seats because they need those 5 employees. They're the ones that have to adjust for the times because they still need to fill those 5 seats. It's not going to affect the person that didn't get the job because they're just going to go to the next one until they get one. But this employer has to change your ways. If I'm telling you that there's a disconnect from clicking a link or just saying, "Hey, come on in," then the employer needs to adjust to just come on in because they still have to fill those seats. They can say, "No, you have to fill out that link." Blah 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 blah. Well, if they're not getting people to do it, they still have to fill the seat. So eventually, they're going to have to. They're the ones that are going to cave. They're the ones that are going to lose in this game of chicken. All right, Abby Teat. It's not a gender thing. It's a passion thing.
Which, hold on, I want to say I am very passionate about this job. I'm very passionate with the amount of time and money that it spent to get here. But that doesn't. I'm just being honest with you guys about how I was feeling.
I think she was saying in general because we talked about some other scenarios.
We said, was it a gender thing?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And Jason Caramel says, "I'm still trying to figure out when we as a society started pronouncing it as realtor." Jason, the realtors, they paid money for an ad campaign for some reason to make us start calling them realtors. I don't understand it. Like realtor was fine.
It was me. I'm the one that started it. I'm the loser that thought that's how it was pronounced.
No, you're right.
It's when they started carrying swords.
I always thought it was realtor.
Yep. It's real. It's realtors in the theater, at the library with their swords and their salmon.
On Wednesday.
I have to say this because
In February.
I'm not sure what comment. I'm not sure what, or I'm going to have salmon for dinner.
Yeah.
Dude, Dub
With
says
a realtor?
that. Dub says salmon, and it makes me crazy. But now he knows how to pronounce it, but he does it on purpose. So like he'll look dead and be dead in the face and be like, "You know what sounds good? Salmon." And I'm like, "I hate you. Why do you keep doing that?"
But I mean,
Johnny
it's not
Sheldon's
anyone
birthday.
else's fault that really wants to pronounce words the way that they look, because what the hell, English language?
English is stupid.
I mean, so it's not really like there. I think it's just being able to pronounce words.
No,
The correct
no, it's
way.
not. No, that is
Okay.
not how it is. And
But-
there are rules to this English language for a reason.
I
That's
mean,
the
yeah,
whole
of
thing.
course, there's
No.
rules, but I'm
You
just
don't-
saying, like,
But
You
there-
don't get just to break the English language rules because they
there-
don't make sense to you.
English breaks the English rules, Dee.
right.
You're doing spelling with a first grader. You absolutely know how stupid. I just did the homophone spelling test with the third grader, and he brought it home, and it was like week, there, all of that, the things that are important to know so you don't look stupid on the internet. So he's like, he's looking at it. He's like, "I don't understand." I said, "Honey, nobody does. You just have to learn
Right.
it." This,
Right.
this
How do we
spelling
even
test is
teach
called
it?
English is dumb, and this is proof. And we're
English
going
is-
to go down.
English is not
Read
dumb.
and read. It's English is stupid. It's stupid.
Oh my God.
It's
I get
stupid.
that.
There are no rules, D. They break
I have
English breaks
something-
its own rules. English is extremely hard to learn. So therefore, when we hear people with heavy accents and people that heavy foreign accents, I should say, and people that speak broken English, we need to respect that instead of laughing about that, because those people learned one of the hardest languages in the world to learn.
Yeah, Donnie and Chris, go ahead.
I was gonna say something that'll blow Demetrius's mind, because like if you say something, no matter how you say it, and I know what you mean, then you've succeeded, and then it's a valid word because I know what you meant.
No, it's not a valid word.
Yes,
Absolutely not.
That's how words
I'll
make
tell
it into
you,
the dictionary.
Absolutely. You know what? I'll tell you.
Supposedly, it is.
I am gonna push back on that because here's the thing, and it literally almost gave me a stroke one day. This chick said to me, I asked her, what was she about to do? And she said, I'm fitting to go to the store. Now, fitting, I found out, is nowhere in the fucking
Those are
dictionary.
slang words. We're not talking about
know
slang.
that? Fitting, yes,
we are.
Yes, we are.
She knew what she
but I
meant,
understood.
though.
But I understood what the fuck she meant. I knew that she meant she was about to go to the store, and that didn't mean that was a great communicator. That means that I slightly had a stroke. That's what that means, because I kind of understood what she meant. That was a fault on me, not a good communication on her. I need to spend more time in the library. So when people say shit like that to me, I go, I don't know what the hell that means.
Wait, for real? All right,
That'll be in the
FR,
dictionary.
You mean
Yeah,
FR,
when you
That'll be in the
FR.
dictionary.
Go ahead.
And that's
Chief.
also too, when you hear somebody mispronounce a word, I remember I read this somewhere too, but if you hear somebody mispronounce a word, you should probably not make fun of them because it means that they've read it and not heard it. So like if you're reading a word and you don't know, the English is so stupid. If you're reading a word and you've never heard it pronounced and it was pronounced a different way and you're mispronouncing it, it's probably just because you read it somewhere and read it in a book. So kudos to that person for learning and then saying the wrong word anyway.
Go ahead, Tifa.
I was just going to point out earlier was there are protesters outside the National Spelling Bee every year to try to reform the spelling of words to what they sound like rather than the way they're actually spelled. Get rid of things like GH and CH and things like that to make it simpler. So
right.
phonetic spelling, basically.
Well, I have to say this, Priscilla Dietrich, I don't know what its comment it's to, but it doesn't happen very often. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Chris is right.
That was about the
job
application things.
Well, I know, but I don't know what part.
Look at one person agrees with him. Actually, we all agreed with him, and he just kept arguing anyway, which was extra weird. Like everybody here was like, "Man, you're right, Tifo," and then he just kept going. Like, who is he trying to convince? I was so confused.
Your Honor, the jury already came back, and his client isn't guilty, but he's still
talking,
arguing.
Yeah, but except you said you agreed, and then you kept going on the other thing, saying that was fine.
We were. Oh my gosh, Tifo. We're gonna have to have a Zoom meeting later.
Don't do it, Ashley. Yes, exactly. Richard says, "Sub Andrew Z and the gang." I got to tell you, Richard has started a company. We talked about how hard it is to start something new. He started this company called Lawn Greetings of Toledo, and it's awesome. Basically, he was the first one in town to do it. Where if you're having a birthday, you call him, and for $29, he'll come and set up in the front yard. Happy 12th birthday, and they'll put like candles up all over the yard and stuff. It's really, or if you're having an anniversary,
those are fun.
Yeah, those are fun. So he does. What's his web? Let me see his website. It is LAGRTO long green to LAGRTO.com LAGRTO.com. Josh Mosier says TBH. What is TBH? I forget.
To be honest.
To be honest, jobs don't really matter to some people at the moment when unemployment is paying the same or more than a lot of starter jobs. Jason says I'm super lazy, but I'm also hungry, so that makes me very efficient. And David Wilson says it's caramel, not caramel. Which is funny. We talk about the English language idiosyncrasies there. All right, real quick, this portion of the show brought to you in part by our friends over at Teebs.green. Teebs does recreational cannabis and medical cannabis, and you can go see them in Adrian. They're right over the border. It's they're a great place there. A lot of people that really know what they're talking about. So if you're if you're feeling anxious, especially with the world now, or if you're feeling like you can't focus or you feel like you're stressed, they really have many options, and many of them are legal in 50 states to help ease some of your tension. And they have it all there. Anything you could ask for. They have their Teebs of Adrian. Go to teebs.green. That's a real website, www.teebs.green. Also, our friends over at Lufka All Natural, Zero Waste Self-Care. This is right up Ashley's boot. Have you ever been to Lufka, Ashley? We got to take you there.
Mm-mm.
Great. It's
No.
in Perrysburg.
I only shop at Walmart.
They're a zero-waste store that offers organic and environmentally friendly skincare and cleaning products free of harsh chemicals. They only use ingredients right here on the earths. So if you want any ingredients from the earths, then you need to go to Lufka All Natural, Lufka, LUFKANWO. .com. And Natasha, hello. She says hi, everybody. Anyone else got anything? I got a ton of stuff, but I want to give you guys first chance to jump in with anything you may have. Anybody? If not, I will go on. This is right up Ashley's alley again. Britney Spears says she's embarrassed by the documentary that came out about her. She finally broke her silence after weeks of speculation following the release of the documentary that the New York Times printed. It's called Framing Britney Spears. Took a look at the controversial conservatorship Spears has been in since 2008. Tuesday night, Spears shared a video of herself dancing to Aerosmith's 1993 song Crazy and wrote that her life has been the source of speculation and she spent it performing in front of people. It takes a lot of strength to trust the universe with your real vulnerability because I've always been so judged, insulted, and embarrassed by the media, and I still am to this day. As the world keeps on turning and life goes on, we still remain so fragile and sensitive as people. Embarrassed by the light they put me in is what she says. I cried for 2 weeks, and while I still cry sometimes, I do what I can in my own spirituality with myself to try and keep my own joy, love, and happiness. The documentary details, we all know what it's about. She says one more thing. Real quick, one more thing, Donnie. She says, we all have so many different, bright, beautiful lives. Remember, no matter what we think we know about a person's life is nothing compared to the actual person living behind the lens. She said that she's not here to be perfect. Perfect is boring. I'm here to pass on kindness, she said. Go ahead, Donnie.
Well, first thing I took from that is, Brittany, I agree. It is hard to trust the universe. Mm-hmm. Number one. But number two, right? It goes to show you she doesn't really know how her fans are viewing her. Because obviously she knows about the negative press because that's what she's referencing. But when she hears about how her fans are feeling towards the situation, and I think that's really what kind of hit hard for her.
I agree. We're just she gets it. I feel bad for her kids. There was a picture the other day of her and her I think it was 2 boys out in somewhere. But to hear your mom called crazy by everyone in the entire world. Yeah. And these aren't little kids, they're adults, they know what's going on. They're probably 15, 16 it looks like. And I mean, it's got to just like, I mean, obviously your job, you love your mom and you want to protect her, and to know that there are so many people just saying horrible things about your mother, it's got to be bad. It's got to suck for them for sure. So anyway, it's just a sad situation.
I would be surprised if they hadn't at a very young age started having conversations about who their mother was and some of the things that they would probably hear and see on the internet. Like, I think when you're a child of a celebrity, especially a celebrity who's that high profile, like, you have to like try to start insulating your children at a young age and preparing them for some of the things that they may see and hear about you in the media, online, from friends. You know, I think they've done a pretty good job of keeping the Spears kids out of the spotlight. I mean, could you, if one of them walked past you, could you pick them out of a crowd?
No.
Yes.
And I don't. I don't disagree, Dee. It is true that they probably have been prepared, but like someone once said that you have a perfect plan until you get punched in the face.
Punched in the mouth, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, okay. And then all of a sudden your plan doesn't work. But I mean, it's easy to say, hey, people are going to say bad things. But then when you see them, you're like, I mean, you get this protective side about you. I know that with all the shit that I went through, I think it was one afternoon, it was me and Colleen and the 4 girls. And we just kind of started talking about the shit that I went through to try to prepare them because, eventually if they haven't already, they don't say anything to me, but what happened to me and being in jail and all that stuff. And so, I mean, we tried to prepare them and tell them the truth and what went down and what happened and whatever. But I still think it's probably not, it probably doesn't feel good for them to see horrible things said about their mother. And go ahead, Dash.
Okay, well, so while I appreciate her, I just read that post this morning, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Something still feels off, and I'm not really even feeling so confident that she's the one that wrote that because I don't know. Her and her boyfriend got some weird stuff going on, and if you just look at her page, you will see that she constantly shares the same few pictures and the same few videos doing the same exact thing. So while I appreciate her vulnerability, this is looking a little bit more like something's going on and she's crying out for help.
I know so many people that
Ashley,
share the exact same pictures in the exact same positions in the exact same spot doing I know so many people that do that.
Ashley, I mean, what short of Britney Spears calling you herself and telling you that documentary hurt her feelings and what short of that?
Well, that's the part that I don't understand because I felt like the documentary was very pro Britney and like we're on your side and we have seen that you have gone through all of this in the last 10, 15, 20 years. So that's the part that made me feel like, well, what? I mean, yeah, of course it sucks to hear things about yourself. That would be horrible, but
what she
it
was
felt
saying
like
was,
they were.
What I took from that statement was she felt like her life had been misportrayed in that documentary, that how people saw her as being locked up and all this other stuff was not really what was going on, and that hurt her feelings, and she cried for 2 weeks because that's how she feels the world sees her.
That's what she portrays on her social media. I mean, she's literally dancing in the same spot and wearing the same clothes over and over again. If it were someone that I knew personally, I would be like, what's going on with so-and-so? I got to check on her. Like,
all right. So yeah, no, I get it. Let's go into Nick Jonas. He's going to be leaving The Voice. Nick is going to be leaving The Voice. It's interesting. I really stopped a long time ago investing too much time into these reality competition shows because I realized after Crystal Bowersox and then maybe one or two after that we never hear from these people again. Like this, it's not Kelly and Justin. It's not, it's not instant fame anymore. So I decided that I'm not going to invest 3 months of my life into these competitions to once the finale is over and I stop crying that I'm never going to see them again. And they're never going to be successful because there's just too many. It's oversaturated now. So they're not going to be successful. And so I stopped watching, but I guess 21 seasons of The Voice now. And Ariana Grande is going to join The Voice and take the place of Nick Jonas, which I didn't even know Nick Jonas was on there, but it's going to be the next season going to be Kelly Clarkson, John Legend, Blake Shelton, and now Nick Jonas is out and Ariana Grande is in. So, which if I'm an Ariana Grande advisor, she's at the zenith of her career. I go against this. I mean, she's the biggest star. She's helping The Voice more than The Voice is helping her because
for sure
she is huge right now. There's no one bigger than Ariana. She got like 4 songs on the radio right now. So I would go against that. You need to be more. I think it helps Gwen Stefani or even Kelly Clarkson. I would. I'm not sure, but anyway, whatever. It is what it is.
Well, that's probably why they booted Jonas and put her in because she's more popular right now.
Oh, absolutely. They would take her. They would probably booted just about anybody to have the chance to have Ariana Grande. Kelly Clarkson, speaking of which, this is back when the first few seasons of Idol, everyone was a star. Even it didn't matter if you're in 3rd place, 5th place, didn't matter. You were a star. Not anymore. But Kelly Clarkson, she had a movie from Justin to Kelly, if you guys remember.
He said like 3 different pronunciations of her name.
Who?
He's gone Clarkson, Clarkston, and Clark.
Oh.
The last one was her name in Chicken.
And Griswold.
Kelly Clarkson said she worried from Justin to Kelly would kill her career, and she cried so hard. She said, "Oh my!" It was a 2003 movie. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was like a beach movie. I don't never saw the whole thing, but
I've never seen it.
from Justin to Kelly.
I don't think anybody's seen it.
Is this one of those like it went straight to DVD?
No, it was big in the time because they were huge.
Yeah.
Justin and Kelly were the biggest things out there because they were the final 2 contestants, and she ended up, I think, beating Justin Guarini and whatever. But she said, "Oh my God, you have no idea how much I cried. I cried so hard to get out of that. And here's the thing: I never wanted to be an actress," she said. But you got to remember, they owned her. She said Justin wanted to do it.
Hell yeah, he did. He
And
just got an alert on his phone that somebody put a picture of him up on the internet. I want to say hi, Justin, for watching.
Justin wanted to do it. I didn't want to do it. And sometimes I think I have no business doing it. This is not a dream of mine. So I was like, let him do it. And obviously, 2 words, she said, contractually obligated. And she begged Simon Fuller, the creator of American Idol, to let her release her first single before the movie came out because she feared she would have no chance at a career if the movie was released first. Miss Independent, dropping in April 2003, a few months before, from Justin to Kelly, quickly rose in the charts and earned the singer her first Grammy nomination. And she said, "If I hadn't had that moment before the movie, I would not be sitting here right now. Our season was the first
on a crappy talk show."
So she said, "I thought I was going to be the most famous cocktail waitress in Texas if this movie, if I had to be part of this movie." But anyway, she's not going anywhere, and ended up working out for her. But I haven't seen Justin Kelly, and I was a huge fan. I was in the audience for the that American Idol.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge. All right, let's go to Adam. Oh, I should have brought this up when I did the voice, but Adam Levine says that Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton can't afford him to perform at their wedding. Adam said, revealed he has not been asked to perform at Gwen and Blake's wedding, but that they would not be able to afford him.
He's so annoying to me.
He is so arrogant.
Yes.
So arrogant.
That was cute. He was being cute. That wasn't arrogant.
Yeah.
That's a huge
I
FU. He's pissed because they haven't asked him yet, so he's just trying to like get back at him. Like, yeah, they couldn't afford me.
I thought you guys loved
like that was like, I don't know what it is, but and maybe guys, like, I don't know, but I heard like, they can't afford me.
Yeah,
and the women heard like, fuck those bitches, they can't afford me.
No.
Like,
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm putting it together with other things about his personality and other things he's said in the past, and I just think he's an arrogant little shit. And
I agree.
Wow, I don't know any women didn't like Adam Levine.
He's nice to look at.
Like the men on the show, you guys got to learn how to read people a little more. Like look at the signs and then put them together, and like then you can maybe like,
you know what?
Take
Here's
the
thing.
Legos, stack them up.
Stack them
Here's the
up,
thing.
and they make a thing.
No. What you ladies need to do is stop taking little things, stacking them up, and trying to make them relate to shit that has nothing to do with anything.
They're like conspiracy theorists with a whiteboard.
If you met Adam in real life, you'd probably walk away from him like, damn, they were right. He's an arrogant, smug little shit.
Have you met
I
him?
have something to
He's
say.
earned his arrogance.
We don't need to. No, just
Just
because you have money doesn't mean you get to be a piece of shit. That's not true.
How is he a piece
Through
of shit?
pure talent.
Here's the problem. The problem is
He's still putting out bangers.
and I'll get to you, Donnie. I'm sorry. Here's a problem. Ashley and Gina, I guarantee that you guys do not watch The Voice.
I do.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I
consistently for as long as he's been there, because he lets a lot of his personal self out there. So there's no way you can watch The Voice, and because you get, those are live shows, and I know it's still, you don't get all of Adam, but you get a lot of Adam, and he's not really an asshole. He's really not. You guys are seeing the Adam that you read about, but if you see him in live television, that's, like I said, you can't hide yourself being live for 20 seasons, and he's a good dude. He's a good guy. Gina, go ahead, Donnie. Do you want to add to that?
No, it's not good enough. I had some. It's not good enough. All right, I'll just say it. So he did the video.
Go ahead, Donnie.
The Girl Like You video was a huge song, and it was like kind of framed as like empowering women, but in the song, he's like, when I come through, I need a girl like you. So I feel like he wrote that when he was single, talking about, hey, when I get to your town, I need a decent chick. So he's thinking about sleeping around, but then it's like framed to be this like empowerment song. It's like, wait a minute, when I come through, I need a girl like you for the weekend. Like, come on, Adam, you're not fooling anybody.
Like it missed the market for maybe a lot
but
of women.
But here's what I thought, because Gina
his
said,
wife with a baby at the end, like this. I'm getting mixed messages here.
Yes. Thank you, Johnny.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. Like Gina said, and it's different because he's married. But I will say that we don't slut shame anymore for men or women. You're allowed to just bang people. Like you can't look
right. No, I'm cool with that. But like, don't sing the song and then play a different video that doesn't match. Like it's not like when you listen to When It's Up, and then she's just like, I don't know, talking about raising, like the video, she's like raising kids. I don't know.
Mr. Levine, we have all the songwriters in the room, and they're churning out hits for you, sir. But what was that one rule that you wanted the room to remember? Here's the rule: if the Palicki's don't understand it, it doesn't get released.
I'm just saying, watch the video.
This is an opinion piece podcast, so sorry that we disagree with you.
No, I love it.
He's just
like, I don't need to meet him to know that he's an asshole. Wow.
I'm not true. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm sure if I met him in real life or anyone, I would give them the chance, obviously. But it's like just the vibe that you get is more like, I don't know.
But here's the thing. If
I'm really adding up to him being like this great, amazing.
But if I'm a handler of Adam Levine, if Ashley is getting the wrong impression, if Gina is getting the wrong impression, it's really it's the fault of his people, because if that's not really what he's like, and that's what's being put out there, and ordinary people are picking up signs and putting those together, well, that is an issue, and it's an issue for his handlers because it's wrong. If it's the wrong message, it's the messenger, not the people that are receiving the message. Does that make sense?
So what you're saying is he needs Chris Brown's people.
Yeah, I know.
Chris Brown is a piece of shit too.
Chris Brown can do whatever the fuck he wants, and women are like, "Oh, I love Chris Brown."
Yeah, he's got great PR.
He's got great people, like him. I think like at first, like he got R. Kelly's people.
Yeah, and then finally they're like, R. Kelly, you're just too fucked up. I mean, we did the best we could for how many years did we hide it? And we just can't.
We can't, bro. We got people who are tired.
Last thing I want to get to, and then we'll get over to Tifel, is Cameron Diaz. I love Cameron Diaz. Did you guys know that she retired from acting 7 years ago?
Retired? Wow.
Yeah. She retired.
I'll pay that close attention.
She retired as in they stopped offering her roles?
Right. I wonder sometimes if that's the case, like after, like it's...
Yeah.
Like if the roles start like trickling down and they're not, they're not as many, and is that when you retire?
No, and here's what I will say, as an expert in the field, that there are, you don't just walk away only by choice nowadays. This is the golden age of making content, We have Apple's paying billions, Netflix is paying billions, NBC's paying billions. If you can get any celebrity with any, you can get any person with any amount of following, they're going to be working. I mean, you watch any shows, everyone's
I got to say, Andrew has a little bit of a point here because I mean, even Tara Reid is still getting work.
Right. There isn't any
Okay.
in Hollywood that wants to work that isn't working. And for Cameron Diaz, who was the highest paid actress in Hollywood for a time being, you can't say that she couldn't get work. Not at this time. Everyone's working right now. It's just everyone's fighting for content and
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so anyway, real quick, so she retired back in 2014, and she's now 48 years old. She was once the highest paid actress, but now has become a best-selling author and co-founder of clean wine label Aveline, along with an entrepreneur. She's the top of her business venture. She and her husband, musician Benji Madden, from what band is he from? Donnie, do you know Benji Madden? George will put it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
But anyway, she said her family started to evolve.
Good Charlotte.
Thank you. Good Charlotte. I used to love that band. Her family started to evolve, and I saw her go like, oh, wait, I only have 100%. You can only give 100%. Now she's giving it to her family. She says she's at a different time in her life now. Now I'm here, and this is the most fulfillment that I've ever had in my life. To have a family, to be married, and have our little nucleus of family is the best thing. So I don't have what it takes to give making a movie what it needs to be made. All of my energy here. What's everyone laughing at? What I miss?
Natasha's comment. I'm laughing at Natasha's comment. There's a role for everyone. Just look at Morgan Freeman. like one of the greatest actors of all time. I mean, he can get work.
Morgan Freeman is a national treasure. I don't know why you would even put that man's name in that mean ass sentence. That was the most disrespectful shit. If there was a slap yourself button on the internet, I would encourage you to punch it right now.
Cameron Diaz says, my career is so fulfilling to me and so exciting. It's partly what gets me up and motivated every day. And that is what allows me to look at things and say, hey, I'm happy to work on balance because I love doing all of these things. I couldn't do it without a wonderful nanny and a partner who's super involved in all of the great.
Oops. She had me. Oh, she had me.
What? I don't understand.
By the way, I would be like 1 million times less stressed out than I am right now if I had the ability to have a nanny. I guarantee you, I wouldn't have even probably said that to you guys about feeling overwhelmed and like I need to be perfect. Because if I had a freaking nanny, I would be on top of the world. I can do anything. Because like, where do I take my kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Like legit.
Good for her for being honest.
I love people who are like, and God bless you, Ashley, for finding that little nugget and piece of shit that she just spit out of her mouth and polishing that turd till it shined like a diamond.
It's
but
not her fault.
Like when people say, that's what I love is the fact that she can take, because that's not reality. You know, when she's like, I found balance. How fucking easy is it to find balance when you got a nanny? Like legit, I can find balance. You know what? I can find time to take care of myself. When I have a nanny, I can find time to work out. I can find time to meditate. I can find time to do ventures that bring my soul joy. When I have a fucking nanny, you know what? My nanny allows me to do a lot of fucking things that allow me to find myself. Thank you, nanny. You know what? It wasn't my spiritual center. It was the fact that I had a fucking nanny.
I mean, you can't blame her. She does realize it, so she shouted her out.
I love, yeah, exactly. I do love Tiefl's dad says if I had a nanny for Georgia, we probably wouldn't have come back home.
Aww.
You know, I do have to tell him I tried to take her out like early on, but you know, her mom's reflexes were too good. Like they came home to 6-year-old Chris sitting on the couch, and they're like, "Hey, here's this fragile newborn baby that we just had. You want to hold her?" And they just gave me the baby, And I'm 6 years old, and I almost dropped her onto the coffee table head first, right into the corner. But her mom's reflexes were that good. So you have. I could have rid out the whole world of that nuisance, but it just didn't happen.
And then so that's where it all began.
But who hands a 6-year-old a baby? I mean, come on.
Every single
lot of
person
people.
that has an older child that brings the baby home. Literally every single one.
But they didn't sit next to me with the baby. They were away. I was on the couch alone. She had to swoop in like a freaking superhero to save the baby. If she had just been sitting next to me, it wouldn't have been that big of a problem.
It was the 80s. They didn't do that stuff back then, probably. They just let you go.
I love George's comment. My dad would rather dig out the cargo ship in the Suez Canal with a teaspoon than let me come back home.
Mine too, Georgia. Mine too. I told my dad, I was like, I am having trouble. This was a few years ago. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, financially. I might have to move back home. And he said, how much is your rent?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the WTF news with Ebenezer Bushrock. All right, see you. Bye, Gino.
Ouch.
Go ahead.
People are finally taking a stand, and I can't be more happy about it. Trinity College in Perth, Australia, has officially banned the mullet, the major Australian export to the rest of the world, and they are not having it anymore on there. So mullets, rat tails, mohawks, and such are no longer allowed at Trinity College in Perth, Australia. The premier of the western state of Australia, Mark McGowan, was quoted as saying he's very pro mullet. It's a uniquely Australian invention, one which we've been selling to the world. But we'll let the school make their own decision. So there are no plans to legislate being able to have a mullet at the time being.
Wow,
So,
I was today years old when I found out the mullet came from Australia.
I know, and then you start thinking about all the Australians and that are actors, and you're like, oh yeah, I could.
Yeah,
you could
I'm
see
like,
it.
Yahoo Serious, Crocodile Dundee,
Steve
Mel
Irwin,
Gibson,
yeah, Russell Crowe.
Holy
who's
shit!
the guy? The
I
great
thought it was a monster truck thing.
Never knew it.
The Greatest Showman too. What's his name?
Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah.
He from Australia?
And you only refer to him as Wolverine. Thank you very much.
All right. What else?
Well, the Swiss Army is looking to become a bit more female. They only have about 1% female recruitment right now, and they're hoping to bump that up to 10%. And apparently they believe their problem lies in the undergarments. Apparently right now, every recruit, whether male or female, gets issued a pair of male loose-fitting underwear, which apparently for women can be quite uncomfortable. So now to encourage more women to join the service, they are now going to offer 2 types of female underwear because they think that that's what's holding women back from wanting to be in the armed services.
I mean, you would think they would be more varied, with more utility, since their knives are so fantastically have so many features that you'd have more options for underwear than just one pair.
Yeah, this is
the Swiss Army drawer, and you just pull it out and like, holy shit! Okay, today it's boxer briefs, and we're gonna push those back in and flip out thongs on Thursday. But then you have that huge drawer just sticking out of the middle of your back.
Are thongs comfortable? Because do women wear those for men?
Are you asking me or my wife?
Donnie.
I hate
Georgia, take that down. I don't want to know that.
Cool. Babe, can I say something?
What?
What?
I hate underwear. I just think it's uncomfortable altogether. So I mean, but especially a thong, riding up your ass crack. No thanks. It's like the worst.
Donnie, where'd you go? Donnie?
I think I hear somebody with some technical issues. I'll be right back.
I think someone needs a technical service call, Donnie. If they don't have any way to pay, though, so I don't know.
You'll have no way to pay.
All right, go ahead.
Commando.
Well, here's a sentence you don't hear too often, or probably do. chaos unfolded at a Pompano, Florida beach recently. A woman drove through a gate and hit a grandmother and her 3-year-old grandson. Both of them are okay. The grandson had a little bit of leg injuries, but he's fine. But her excuse was that she didn't mean to hit them. She was going after somebody else. So apparently she had gone to the park to settle an argument with another woman. Because apparently that's where you settle arguments in Florida. And things got heated, and parents were starting to gather up the kids and get them out of the park because they were, expecting things to get worse. And while they were doing this, the woman, whether it's unclear whether or not she was involved in the initial fight, but then her apparently intention was to run over one of the women involved in the argument, and she somehow lost control and hit the grandmother and her kid, and she thinks that she should be somewhat excused from it because they weren't the ones she meant to hurt.
Yeah, isn't that called like manslaughter or something when it's an accident?
Right, when
like
it's
not intentional or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, good thing that they didn't get seriously injured, but damn.
I
Sounds
know.
like she lost control way before she lost control of her car, though. She needed to check herself a little bit. What are you doing?
Going there to do that, it's an issue.
Right.
All right. By the way, Natasha says thongs don't roll with age well. It was cool in the 20s, 30s, not so much. Not so much. All right, Tifo, you got any more? Is that it?
I got one more out of Florida.
Oh, a Florida man.
I got one more out of Titusville. There's a school in Titusville, Florida called Astronaut High School because why not? At this year's graduation, they're letting a nonprofit come in and hold a raffle for the students that are graduating that year. And amongst the prizes is an AR-15.
Oh, Jesus.
And so this is, of course, causing some ire with the local community. Some people going, how is that an appropriate raffle prize at a school when there have been so many school shootings lately?
Yeah, that's dumb.
And other people going, yeah, Florida, AR-15, yeah. But other than that, that's what's going on. Now, the school insists that they told the nonprofit they couldn't actually use any of the school's logos, name, or anything like that in their promotional material. So the fact that you found out about it being held at the school was completely an accident.
I think a good raffle prize would have been like a diploma. Like, oh my God, I don't even have to go to school now. I won the raffle. How'd you get your diploma? I won a school raffle.
Only eligible to freshmen. Like that. Like you want to talk about throwing your parents' life into utter chaos. Let them win a diploma in a raffle at the age of 13.
How great would it? Everyone would play though. I mean, if you want to get the raffle numbers up, I mean, you could win a diploma and just skip four years of nonsense.
Hey, Mom, look, I'm a D1 athlete.
It's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine. I kind of told a little bit of the story, but I haven't talked to her in like 30 plus years. But we have such fond memories of school age. But there are a lot of people that hated their school years or their high school years or middle school or whatever it was, but that they hated their time. And I freaking loved it. Like I loved everything about it. Like I can't remember not loving it. See, Georgia didn't like it. There are a lot of people that they're like,
high school was horrible.
It was all right.
Really, high school was horrible for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
It was not my favorite.
The only people that have fond memories of high school were the popular kids.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't consider myself a popular kid, but
and that's what a popular kid would say.
But Andrew, yeah, but like you're like Donnie, because Donnie has said before, like he didn't mind high school, but because you guys are like a personality type where it's like you don't really care what anyone thinks about you. Like you're not really concerned with like who likes you or what group you fit into or anything. So that's why it's like whatever. I wasn't popular. I was just fine. I just like got along with everybody. I think that if you had that that personality or mental state. Then
actually, you nailed it. You nailed it because I was I was friends with all the groups. I was friends with the stoner group, and I was friends with the jock group, and I was friends with all the groups. So you are right, Ashley. There was just one time that I do remember that I was messing around with this guy's this gang member. This because I grew up. I was bused to the ghetto.
Where did you grow up?
California, L.A. So I would.
He was.
They have gangs out there.
He was so white that they were like, we have to bus him to the ghetto.
Yeah, that's a story in and of itself. But I was
how do you end up getting bused to the ghetto?
It was bad. It was bad, dude.
Was it like an exchange student program?
Yeah, well,
they were like.
I think that was some sort of policy back in my day because we lived in Diamond Bar.
Listener exchange.
We lived in Diamond Bar, which was very much like Perrysburg. Diamond Bar was very similar to Perrysburg. And when we bought our house, they told us, well, they're building a brand new high school in Perrysburg. So you're going to be able to your kid's going to be able to go to a brand new high school by the time he's high school age. And they sold all this stuff or whatever. Well, so everyone's buying houses. Well, then at one point they said, well, only half of Diamond Bar is going to go to Diamond Bar High. The other half is going to go to Pomona. We're going to bus you to Pomona, which Pomona was like the east side. And so all of a sudden then everyone started trying to sell their houses on the side. And I lived on the wrong side. So they would bus me where there were actually gangs and shootings. And it was crazy. Like, I think I've told the story, but if you remember
some of you are going to read about life. The other half of you are going to experience it.
There was a show there was a mini series called Roots back in the day, Roots. And it was about how white people were shitty to black people and slaves and brought them over. And all the white people were shitty. And all the black people
I love how you opened it up with, it was how white people were shitty to black people.
What? Why is that wrong?
You did Kunta dirty, man.
Synopsis.
So, yeah.
That is.
Anyway, so during this miniseries, the black people that went to the school, which was a majority, they were beating white people up because they were so mad from watching this miniseries and seeing how shitty that we treated them.
What year did you go to high school?
I graduated.
That Roots was fresh in their memory.
I graduated '88. When did Roots come out? I don't even remember.
Oh my God!
Roots came out in the '70s.
Did it?
I think early '80s.
Let me look.
'79
series. I will tell you right now. 1977. But I think there was a second one. I think there was a second. Was there? I think there was
a Roots 2 because Roots 1 left so many unanswered questions.
Roots 2, Electric Boogaloo. Like, what do we?
The Shaka Zulu.
I don't know. I think there was. I don't remember.
Like,
oh shit.
Okay, maybe I wasn't. I don't know.
Are you thinking the color purple?
What's that?
You're thinking like the color purple or something? Like, what are you thinking of?
Color purple is way.
I mean, maybe they were just actively in real life white people not treating black people well, so they were beating the shit out of them. I mean, that could also be the option. Like,
Andrew's first thought was they must have seen something on television.
They must have watched it.
They must have watched.
Bad news.
Here was our school. Here was our school real quick. Our high school. Donnie, did you freeze? Oh, no, you're good. Okay. Yes,
I was looking up. I said it was probably Shaka Zulu. I was trying to see if that had any kind of undertones.
We would have every once in a while, about once a month, we would have lunchtime dances. The greatest thing ever. There would actually be a DJ show up. And then during lunch, so you'd be whatever, eating your lunch.
High school in a musical?
No, it was just this was what it was. So then my buddy, who's a good friend of mine, he was great at they call him the dozens now. What did they call him back then? Like you would crack on people, snapping, you'd crack on people.
Yeah,
he was great at it, right? So there were these sisters that were rapping at the high school at the lunch dance or the lunchtime dance, and they were rapping. So then when they were done, he took the microphone and started cracking on him. So these two girls beat the shit out of him right there at the playground. It was high school, so it wasn't a playground, but out on I don't know, we didn't play like
track
dodgeball and shit. It was outdoors. But anyway, beat the shit out of him.
Big old piece of black asphalt that
Yes.
they let us play on when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. We didn't have spongy ground. They actually put the monkey bars over the asphalt.
Yes. So they beat the shit out of this dude. This good buddy of mine. He ended up having to go to the office. He had to leave school, and then just never returned. He's like, he was so embarrassed by getting beat up by two girls. He never came back to school. His mom ended up sending him to another school because it ended up being horrible for him, traumatically horrible for him. So, but other than that, I loved my school days. It was the best. I learned so much. All right. On that note, thank you, Ebenezer Bushrod, for your fantastic WTF news today, for Demetrius and for Donnie P and Ashley and Gina and George. I'm Andrew Z. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Come on!